The deadliest tsunami in recorded history killed 230,000 people across 14 countries. It crossed the Indian Ocean in hours. Waves reached coastlines thousands of miles from the epicenter. The tallest tsunami ever recorded killed 5 people. It happened in a bay 7 miles long. The wave reached 1,720 feet up a mountainside. That's taller than the Empire State Building, taller than almost every skyscraper on Earth, high enough to swallow a 50-story tower and keep climbing. It occurred on July 9th, 1958, in a place so remote that only 3 fishing boats witnessed it. One of them survived by riding the wave like an elevator. Another sank. The third made it out, somehow. For decades, scientists questioned whether it even happened. The numbers seemed impossible. Tsunamis don't behave that way. Water doesn't climb mountains. But the evidence was undeniable. The forest was gone. The trim line was measured. The ice face was sheared clean. This is Lituya Bay, and what happened there changed everything we thought we knew about waves. Lituya Bay sits in southeast Alaska, a narrow, T-shaped fjord carved by glaciers, hemmed in by mountains rising 2,000 to 6,000 feet. The entrance is so tight that boats navigate it carefully. Inside, the water is calm, the walls are steep, the setting is beautiful. And it sits directly on top of a fault. The Fairweather Fault runs beneath the bay. It's a strike-slip fault, the same type as the San Andreas. The Pacific Plate grinds past the North American Plate at this boundary. The region is seismically active. Earthquakes are common. But strike-slip faults don't usually generate tsunamis. They move horizontally, not vertically. They don't displace water, unless something else happens. July 9th, 1958, 10:15 p.m., a magnitude 7.8 earthquake struck near Lituya Bay. Some estimates put it at 7.9 seconds. The ground shook violently for 60 to 90 seconds. Horizontal acceleration strong enough to throw a person sideways. Vertical motion almost as intense. Inside the bay, 3 fishing boats were anchored for the night. The crews felt the quake immediately. The boats lurched, the water churned. Then it went quiet, not calm, quiet. One of the fishermen, Howard Ulrich, looked toward the head of the bay. He saw the mountains moving, not shaking, moving. A massive section of rock was separating from the ridge above Gilbert Inlet. Then it fell. 30 to 40 million cubic meters of rock, 90 million tons, a monolithic block breaking free from 3,000 feet up, center of mass at 2,000 feet, falling almost vertically into the inlet. The impact lasted seconds. The wave that created climbed to 1,720 feet in less than a minute. When scientists arrived weeks later, they didn't believe it at first. The evidence was obvious. A sharp horizontal line ran across the mountainside where the forest ended. Above the line, bare rock. Below, trees. The trim line was measured at 524 meters, 4 square miles of forest stripped to bedrock. Every tree, every plant, gone. But the mechanism made no sense. Earthquakes generate tsunamis through vertical displacement. The seafloor moves up or down, pushing water. But the Fairweather Fault moves horizontally. The uplift wasn't there. Some proposed a landslide. Rock sliding into the bay could displace water. But when they modeled a sliding slope failure, the numbers didn't work. Landslides move too slowly. Energy dissipates. Others suggested glacial lake drainage. Maybe trapped water behind ice, suddenly released. Insufficient. The measurements were clear. The mechanism was not, until they looked at what actually hit the water. This wasn't a landslide. Landslides slide. They move along a failure plane, picking up speed gradually, spreading out as they descend. This was a rockfall, a free fall impact. The rock mass detached as a single, nearly intact block. It fell almost vertically, at an angle close to 75 degrees. It struck the water surface and the bay floor sediments simultaneously. What happened next was impulsive energy transfer. When a massive object hits water at high speed in a confined space, the water has nowhere to go horizontally. The bay is too narrow, the walls too steep. The impact creates a crater in the inlet floor. Sediments fold and displace violently. The sheer force compresses everything: water, air, rock, in a fraction of a second. The energy has nowhere to go but up. The water doesn't rise in a wave. It explodes upward. A non-linear splash wave forms, a vertical sheet of water, not a propagating swell. That splash reached 524 meters up the opposite slope. This is why traditional tsunami models failed. They assumed waves propagate outward. This wave went up. Los Alamos National Laboratory ran the numbers. Zurich built physical models in wave tanks. Computational fluid dynamics confirmed it. The only mechanism that fit the evidence was impulsive rockfall impact. The wave didn't travel, it erupted. 2 waves formed that night. The first was the vertical splash wave at Gilbert Inlet, extremely localized, responsible for the 1,720-foot run-up. It scraped the mountainside clean and collapsed back into the inlet within seconds. The second wave propagated down the bay. Near the head, it stood over 100 feet tall. It traveled at speeds between 97 and 130 miles per hour. As it moved through the narrow fjord, it scored the shoreline, snapping trees, tearing apart the forest. At the glacier face, it sheared off 400 meters of ice. A vertical wall was left behind, measured later by aerial survey. Howard Ulrich and his 7-year-old son were anchored near the entrance when the wave reached them. They had seconds. Ulrich started the engine, turned the bow into the wave, opened the throttle. The wave was a wall of water moving at highway speed. The boat rose. The anchor chain snapped like thread. They rode the wave upward, lifted more than 80 feet above normal sea level, carried over the forested spit at the bay entrance. For a moment, they were suspended above the trees. Then the boat dropped back into the ocean on the other side. The engine was still running. The hull was intact. They survived. Another boat, captained by Bill Swanson, also made it out. The wave carried his vessel over the trees on the south shore. He cut the anchor and surfed into open water, unable to believe what had just happened. The third boat, the Sunmore, didn't make it. Bill and Vivian Wagner were aboard, experienced fishermen. They'd been in the bay before. When the wave hit, the Sunmore was swamped and dragged under. Their bodies were never found. 5 people died that night, in the tallest tsunami ever recorded, in a bay where almost no one was there to see it. Lituya Bay forced a reckoning. Before 1958, science only blamed earthquakes. But this event rewrote the physics. It proved that a simple rockfall could create a monster. This birthed the term megatsunami, not just a wave, but a high-energy impact in a confined space, rare, unpredictable, and terrifyingly real. Glaciers are retreating. Slopes once held in place by ice are now exposed. Norway has similar fjords. Greenland, Patagonia, New Zealand. The conditions that created Lituya Bay are becoming more common. These places are monitored now, but rockfalls are sudden, seconds between failure and impact. Evacuation isn't always possible. The lesson from Lituya Bay: extreme events don't need continental-scale energy. They need the right geometry. The deadliest tsunami crossed an ocean. It took hours to arrive. The world watched. The tallest tsunami climbed a mountain. It lasted minutes. Almost no one saw it. The wave didn't roar across the sea. It exploded upward inside a mountain-walled bay. And when the water fell back, the mountain was bare.